What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I am Frankfurter, that is Magically Average, and today we do have a very special guest with us. Despite his name, he is abreast on all things manga. We have TheMangaSloth with us. Thank you so much for joining us. It is a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Even better now that I'm on Baka& Company. Of course.
I like the. I would have thought you had music behind you as you were, you know, getting
Yeah,
Get,
just
introduced.
add cheers like,
put a
"Woo!"
put a
Yeah,
chair.
I'll put some music and stuff. I'll zoom in.
Yeah, there we
Be
go.
very
But
triumphant.
thank you for joining us again. One of the things that we like to do here whenever we do have a guest on is we ask him, how did you get into anime? How did you get into manga? How did you get into this crazy community that we have?
Uh, I mean, pretty simple. Manga was a manga actually came later. Anime was first. Um, Growing up, it was just. I mean, I'm just gonna. It was Toonami. It was Toonami and Adult Swim.
Yep,
Uh,
as it was for a majority of us.
Yep.
just. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, I obviously grew up with, like most people, with DBZ, Gundam,
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah,
Um, Adult Swim brought me into one of my favorite anime mangas ever, Yu Yu Hakusho.
yeah,
And
that's a
then,
good one.
and then Inuyasha and all that stuff on there was, you know,
God, I remember the days of just Toonami and Adult Swim and waking up like in the middle of the night because your TV's still on. You'll wake up, it's like 2 a.m. and there's
How
just
could I
Inuyasha on your.
survive?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh
Mm.
fuck, what am I watching? Oh, that's right. This is Inuyasha. It's about that wolf dog
Or
person, man.
or you could be like me and wake up to the terrifying moment of Bleach where you just see hollows devouring people, and you're like, "Not back to bed. I go. Try not to get nightmares."
But thank you
or
so
you
much.
wait,
Oh, go for
Yeah.
it. No.
100 episodes in or something into Yu Yu Hakusho for the next episode, and then it starts and it's the first episode. They run it back
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
because it.
The amount of times I've seen, like when I was a kid growing up, just like the amount of times I saw the first episode of Case Closed is astounding.
I
Like,
I don't think for as short of a series as it is, I don't think I ever saw all the way through Fooly Cooley on Toonami, even though I had probably watched it like 70 times.
mhm.
I think I was always missing like 2 episodes, and then I bought the Blu-ray and I was like, oh, that's what happens. Makes kind of more sense now. Not really, but at least I know, what how it concludes.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
But again, thank you for joining us and thank you for your backstory. We greatly appreciate it. We are going to be talking about all things manga. So we are going to start from our beginnings and leading all the way up to where we're at currently, and currently kind of in the manga industry kind of speculatory
That's
era.
that's heavy.
So yeah, those are words. I'm trying to sound smarter than it actually is, but yeah, I mean, going forward, it's just going to be free flow. Interject whenever you want. But I just wanted to talk about how each three of us got into manga because I don't think we've actually talked about how you and I, Tyler, got into manga, and especially for having a first guest here. Like I'm interested in to see how you got into manga yourself. But Tyler, if you want to start us off, then just how the heck did you get into manga?
So like all good drugs, my first drug was WB-20 for kids,
Mm-hmm.
which was Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon, and then that led into Adult Swim and Toonami. So I started off in the anime train first, and then I think it was around the time where One Piece was first airing in the US, and I was like, "Oh, this is sweet. I should see if there's a comic for it." Because I had learned at the time, I think it was in middle school probably, that most of the series had correlating manga to it. Limited
Mm-hmm.
knowledge of Japanese media. So I went to forced my mom to go to Barnes and Nobles with me, and I was like, "Oh, look, it's here." And I was like, "Whoa, there's a lot of it. There's like 30 volumes." And she's like, "One." And I was like, "All right." So that's kind of where it started. It was One Piece first. I think I bought the first like 3 or 4 volumes of One Piece when I was younger. I picked up Bleach when I wasn't scared shitless after the one episode, and actually started watching it from the beginning and realized, oh, it's not that scary. Um, And I think those were really the two manga I had growing up, and that was it. And I had a huge gap in high school, and then didn't get back into anime and manga until sophomore year of college. And that's when I picked up the box set of Full Metal Alchemist, and it was just downhill from there. Now I have bookcases upon bookcases of manga, and honestly, it is like a drug because it's scattered throughout my house as if I was hiding drugs, because you just open up like cupboards and there's just like manga would pop out and you're like, oh
Instead
god,
of
that's
empty
where those.
baggies and whatnot, you just got books laying everywhere.
Yeah, it's just like receipts, piled up in corners and stuff. You're trying to hide all the evidence of the bad demons that have come out in purchasing hundreds and hundreds of manga. But yeah, and it's obviously spiraled out of control to art and beyond. So
And to where we're at here.
yeah, exactly. The full culmination of bad habits early on, and now look where I'm at, Dad. Are you proud of me?
No kidding. MangaSloth, how in the heck did you get into manga? Just reading it, collecting it, etc.
Well, I just did. Stream's over. No, I'm kidding.
That's fair.
Yeah, no.
I well, I mean, it's a little bit similar, but it was after watching animes and stuff, going to the bookstore and Walden Books or Borders, if anybody remembers
Yeah.
those.
The classics.
The dark times.
Aging myself here. But manga trickled in very slowly because it was money intensive. Every volume is $10. Now I wouldn't be caught dead buying a manga for retail or at, I don't even know, 30% or less off.
Yeah.
No
But,
kidding.
But I was a kid and manga's expensive. And then when you see One Piece, similar story, that everything's backwards. That One Piece right there was the first One Piece.
Is that
and
the gold foil one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the graded
It
one,
was. I went in and it was one of my first manga I ever picked off a shelf and bought. So obviously I have the box sets now, so I got a double, but that one's just like sentimental.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Definitely. 100%.
And then for many years, it just, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna say at least for 5, 6, 7 years, I didn't have over 100 when I first bought a manga. 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I never got over 100. But my wife is another reason why I have a lot of manga. She was into manga too, and she had a lot.
Throw the wife under the bus. Make it seem less bad.
Yes. I was more into anime only. She was into anime and manga. So even when I first met her, she had 150, 200 manga, which seemed like a ton back then.
Yeah.
All the Bleach, Naruto, One Piece. Oh, no, she actually didn't have One Piece. And now since we both read manga, you can't see it, but I'm in like 900 square feet, single level of my house, and it's.
Yeah. What we can't see is that everything in front of you is just manga. There's no room for you to move. Your desk is manga.
It's like the library bookshelves where it's like they're all collapsed together and you have to pull them apart one by one, and each one has like double-sided books.
Yeah. Indiana Joneses it out of his room just to dodge all the different layers of books.
That are
might not be that bad, but just to give you an idea, I have 4,000 some that are shelved. And then, no joke, I have easily 800 manga sitting on tables waiting to be put away because I'm lazy.
Those poor tables. Well, I mean,
I was gonna say it's where the Sloth name comes into play. So it's fine.
I'm well over 5,000 right now, so it's a lot.
Jeezy Pete's.
It's a lot.
That's awesome.
I corrupted my wife, so now we collect wildly different series. She's more into BL, which I enjoy the fact that she loves that medium. but it's just funny when we go to like Barnes and Second and Charles and stuff, and then I got like a stack of new like shonen or seinen stuff, and then like within there it's like sprinkled in like BL, wrapped BL, just don't want to know BL, don't open it. And the person at the register is always like, oh, and I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Unlike y'all, my wife does not collect manga or like manga, so I am the 2 shelves deep essentially. I have a bunch of books on the floor. I plan on live streaming, just reshelving all of my books because I'm moving everything around. But my story is a little bit different from y'all's as to how I got into manga. Um, y'all kind of naturally fell into it with liking anime and wanting to see what the source material was behind it. Me, it was more so I knew it existed, but that wasn't a type of nerdiness I really wanted to go down. And never bought it. Didn't like just was anime only for everything. And then back in 2019, my buddy Toe, like all good things, I blame my buddy Toe, bought me my first 3 volumes. And it was the first 3 volumes of My Hero Academia. It was either the first 3 or first 2. Regardless, he bought me the first 2 or 3 volumes of My Hero Academia, and I didn't read them. They sat on my nightstand for over a year.
Good for you.
Moved to a
Good for you.
Moved to a new place, and then I live in Texas, and we had a winter freeze where we literally could not leave our house for
For those who
about
don't
a
know,
week.
though, anything about Texas, a winter freeze for them is as if the
We don't
snow,
have
like,
infrastructure for anything. So if
yeah.
there's snow or ice on the ground, everything shuts down.
Imagine if the
So-
clouds just went and like a
Yeah.
sprinkling, a dusting of snow, the entire
pathetic.
state implodes.
Yes, it does because our power grid can't handle it. Anyways, that's a different story. But yeah, we were stuck, and I was like, we have no internet, we have no power.
I have
I
2
guess
books.
I'll read. So I read the first 2 volumes rather quickly. We got electricity for maybe 2 hours or so. Downloaded Shonen Jump because I was like, cool, I can at least download chapters there. And started reading Chainsaw Man, etc., and everything else that was on Shonen Jump at the time. And then I talked to my wife like mid freeze. I was like, "How do you feel about me collecting some of these books? Like, I know it's nerdy and all, but like, do you care?" And she's like, "No, as long as you can contain it to your room, I don't care." I was like, "Great," and that's where my journey started.
That's like turning to your wife and going, "Hey, honey, what do you feel about heroin? Good, good, bad, good, good, good. All right."
Yeah. I don't think she knew the commitment I got into
No.
when I started that.
And
So
just look behind you.
yeah, I know exactly. But
I didn't-
yeah, no.
I didn't realize you had only started reading in 2019. I feel like I should haze you more.
No, I
Me
really
and
only
Sloth
started
over me and Sloth over here had to go through the grueling years of middle school and high school, being the weird kids watching anime and having weird backwards comics.
To be fair, I watched it. I just didn't read it.
You watched it because your uncle brought over all the stuff from his travels in Japan.
That was when I was a child. I watched DBZ. I watched Inuyasha. I watched fucking everything that was on Toonami and WB.
I'm skeptical now.
Oh
sir.
my goodness! It's like I've only known you for 4 years or some shit.
Yeah, and only a year prior you had started reading manga. Who are you? I don't even know you.
I don't either. But those are pretty much our origin stories. Thank you for sharing. I did ask before the show to grab an item that you're proud of having in your collection, whether it be something super rare, super expensive, or just something you're happy to own. I have one of 2 different things that I'm actually pretty happy to own in my collection. I'll show off first, and then we can go MangaSloth, and then Tyler, you can go. But the 2 things that I'm proud of owning, the first one is the complete series for a really, I only recently read it, but it is a series called Mail. Wow, that was the backside. It's a series called Mail. It's out of print. It was a 3-volume run. It's the same author who does Corpse Delivery Service, and I found the first volume on a whim, like at a half price books. Picked it up, had to find the other 2. And it was a pain in the dick. It was a pain in the dick to find because each volume was like $50 to $100, and I was like, this is not great. And then I eventually found like a bid for each volume, and I was like, great. I can hopefully win these for a reasonable price, and I did. It was about like 26 a piece,
Yep, I'm proud of
which
you.
was nice. It's the only full series that I have that's out of print, and so yeah, that's one of the big things that I'm proud of for my collection. But the other one, which I'm proud of, but also it's the most frustrating thing of my life, is that I own only one volume, and is the hardback cover of Kill la Kill Volume 1. I am still trying to find volumes 2 and 3 in hardback, but they are extremely expensive, with like the second one going for about $200 and one buy it now currently sitting on eBay for 400. And I'm like, why?
That is the
Why?
that was the shiniest cover.
Oh, I know, it's
you
so
turned
fucking
you
shiny.
turned it and your light hit it, and it was like when like Indiana Jones opens up the chest and there's like the gold. It was like, oh,
Yeah. So
Christ.
having Kill la Kill, like this is yes, sorry.
It's bright on my
I'll
side
stop
too.
blinding you now, and I
Holy
don't even
moly.
know if Sloth can see it for the fact that he's got to peer through his mask. But
His
No, I
head turns just like, what are you talking about?
it's like, no,
I
you've
can
already
see it. I
blinded
can
me.
see it.
Yeah, but Kill la Kill, the hardback cover of Volume 1, I really like it, but finding volumes 2 and 3 is a pain in the ass.
Which
But
is
yeah, manga,
it's
or
annoying to
what?
me though. I have volume 3 and I offered to give it to you, and you're like, it's not hardcover, it's softcover, and I was like,
It's like the same thing with some summertime rendering. I just wanted all the hardcovers.
you just want to be
But
hard
anyways,
always.
I know I want to be hard always. Sloth, how about you, buddy?
Um, you know, it's weird with all this manga. I have plenty. I mean, absolutely plenty of manga over $100, $200. A lot of single volumes. Just to give you an idea, I'm not particular to Doctor
Ooh,
Slump. I have no sentimental, but like it's weird to say this, but I don't really care about the price of any of the manga. I'm not really holding them onto them like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have like right now I'm trying to sell a Doctor Slump set, and these are just extras, but this goes for like 140 or something.
Jeezy Pete.
Just
criminal.
for So there's a lot of random volumes that are over $100, $200 in some certain sets, and
Mm-hmm.
they're all random numbers like 14, 16, 12, 8, stupid things like that. But I don't know. None of them are that important to me. Uh, I'll show you this one. This one's special to me because right when I was about what was it for? I think around when my YouTube channel was hitting around, might have been over 30,000 subs. I
Mm-hmm.
did a collab. I'm friends with a mangaka named Odysseus Theodoratos. He's the creator of Tomahawk Angel, printed by Dark Horse.
Oh,
Definitely pick it up. It's in all your bookstores. It's freaking awesome. Very seinen-y. And so I'm buddies with him, and I did an interview with him and all that stuff. And he sent me some promo volumes that are advanced copies and signed them and drew on them and stuff for giveaways. It's hard to see, but one of them's
Yeah,
here.
it's,
oh
it's the
yeah,
very last one on the stand there.
yeah.
Uh, oh, and I didn't pay for any of these. I'm not too big into Beckett. Beckett sponsored me for a video, so
Oh
everybody
no,
got my back.
I was like,
there was
as
no
a
judgment there at all. It's
There's been plenty of hate for me because I did a review on graded manga. They brought
interesting.
out their torches. But anyways, he signed this one for me, but he also
oh,
Oh, that's
painted
beautiful.
me this picture of the main character Valerie with his own blood.
Oh, wowza.
So
excellent.
and then he sealed it. So I thought that was pretty freaking hardcore.
That's
Not
metal.
giving that one away.
No, no, you hold on to that one. That's
But
awesome, man.
but stuff like that is means something to me. I mean, like that ancient Magus bread right there is a misprint. It showed up all black and white on the cover and spine and everything when it's not supposed to be.
Huh.
Random stuff like that. But outside of that, if I had to sell or give away any of my manga, I don't think I'd be too sad. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's awesome. I appreciate you sharing that with us because yeah, that's freaking dope. And I despite them being graded and the hate you may get for that, like I think that there is a certain I like the fact that it's preserved. I like that it's in a
Sure.
very hard
Yeah.
plastic to the point where it's just like, hey, I have this. It's going to be preserved in most worst case scenarios.
They're all
It's there if
doubles.
I ever need it.
Yeah.
So it's I think to me it's a cool display piece, and I thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. And coming from someone that collects cards, I'm usually not one for grading either,
Yeah.
unless it's like
You and your
unless it's
shiny
like doubles of stuff. Yeah, yeah. You know, you have to
I
have
mean,
your vices.
there's grading for everything: cards, games, toys,
Oh yeah.
coins, money. I mean, just I don't know why people rage. You put plastic on a manga, rah!
It's yeah. You know, you can open up your phone and just read it most of the time too.
Yeah,
It's okay.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
you're spoiling the rest of the show.
I'm
We'll get to that.
sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll get to that. All right. Anyways, Tyler, what did you bring us?
Mine is unsurprising to most, JoJo's related, hence all the JoJo's everywhere. This one's probably the coolest, just because it was hard to come by. It's the first. It's the what is it? Weekly Jump, I think, or Ultra Jump.
Ultra Jump.
Yeah, for the first chapter of JoJo Lands, which was that was like I turned into like a forensic analyst with the amount of like researching and just like scouring the web to figure out like what the hell do I have to do to get this freaking volume when it comes out, because it's like it only comes out in Japan. It's like I know that who can I bribe to get it for me? And then it was like, well, Kinokuniya will have it. Oh, great, only in stores. Fuck. Can I get it online? Maybe. You have to send us an inquiry. Okay. And then it was like, it honestly felt like I was doing a drug deal in the middle of the ocean with them, because they're like, all right, we can't promise you anything, but we'll have some in stock. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to prepay us. We're not going to guarantee you're going to get it, but we'll let you know if we don't have it. But if you do get it, we're not going to inform you. We're just going to send it to you. And I'm like, all right. So
Yeah,
You know,
you went through the easy or not easy route. You went through a hard route, but
Yeah.
at cost, and I went the easy route at like just above cost.
yeah, you turd.
you
But-
have you have no idea though how common that is for art books and things like that to get
Oh, yeah.
them in America. You're scouring pages of internet and trying to translate pages like crazy, trying to figure out what you're doing. I love JoJo's. That volume's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the translate too, because as you can see from the top, I was like, oh sweet, I can get a shirt. And I went to the webpage and it was like all in Japanese. I was like, I could probably translate this, and it translated just being like, you have to be Japanese. And I was like, all right, well, that was kind of a letdown, but
Figures
oh well.
as much.
Yeah, well, I was just in Japan too, and they had a promo on some of the drinks for Golden Kamui, and I was like, oh, it'd be kind of fun to enter like a little promo thing, giveaway, get some points or whatever. And you have to have a line, which is like their text messaging app, and I'm like, every single giveaway promotion thing, you have to have a line. I was like, dang it. But
That or a Japanese address.
yeah, either one. That was the other hard thing with this too. I think it was with this. I had to have like a Japanese address related to it, but it was all kinds of wild. And then the other one though, I don't know how rare. Again, these are just cool, but it's the special JoJo magazines. I have all three. So I bought this one when I was in Japan during my honeymoon, and then Frank and I were at MomoCon a couple months back, and there was a gentleman that was from Japan that had a booth there. He actually he has a shoe shop, but it has some JoJo's merch as well, because he's friends with one of the directors or artists for the JoJo series, which I was like, that's sweet. But I bought these two from him, and yeah, these are always super cool. I love the art, hence why I have JoJo A Go-Go and JoJo Vele behind me as well, because the art's just awesome.
You are just surrounded by JoJo.
I love JoJo so much.
Yes, you do, baby
Just
boy. It's okay.
give me part 7, please, Gyro, please.
Stop gyrating for Gyro.
let me have my moment.
Fair enough. Moving on from that, the other thing there's two other topics that I wanted to talk about, and they'll kind of morph into each other.
Two?
And that is, well, yeah, we talked about this at the top of the show. It's fine. But yeah, no, I wanted to discuss with you what you've been reading and how you've been reading it. If you've been reading it via the books, like physical copy, or if you've been reading it digitally. And Sloth, I guess we can just start with you because both of us can go real quick because I know his answer. He probably knows my answer. But I want to know. I'm curious. Do you read things digitally, like, or do you read it physically only exclusively? And
Frank,
what are you reading?
read the room. He's a sloth. He doesn't have access to technology, all right?
I mean, he's got a camera.
It's why he has 5,000 volumes of physical manga.
I got
Yeah.
got my neon light in the back.
Ah!
It looks great in person.
Yeah.
Doesn't show up on camera.
I had one behind my wall, and it was a little sushi roll. And the moment it turned on, it was as if the sun emerged through my wall, and just destroyed everything in its path. And I was like, "Well, you're
Yes,
going
it
on the
did.
other wall then."
Yeah, I had a video sponsor, and they were like, "Hey, can we pay you a bunch of money and send you a LED, neon thing?" And I was like,
Yeah.
Sure, sure." But I didn't think they could do this good a job. They got my whole Full Metal Alchemist logo with the Hunter Yu Hawk Show and Sailor Moon, and it was crazy.
They threw everything in there.
Yes, they did. But yeah,
So I read physical. I don't like reading digital. I will. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get into this. I'm prepared, and I read things digital. So I'm a future sloth. I will. I got my laptops and and everything. We're ready. I
We're ready
just
for the apocalypse, for the sloth apocalypse.
yes. Sloth. If there's a sloth apocalypse, you might want to come to my house.
I was
got a
gonna say
library
it'll
here.
be very slow, and it'll be poops every 1 week.
you'll see it coming
Yeah.
in more ways than one.
Yes.
So me and my wife definitely read physical 99.09%. Um, there are plenty of things that I would like to read that are digital only, and things that are um, continuing on digital like One Piece and stuff. But I just read One Piece when it comes out volume by volume.
Okay.
Maybe I'll get there someday, and I'm patient, and that goes into what I'm reading now. I have I don't even want to know, hundreds of ongoing series that I read. So I just picked one thing that I finished the other day, which was the brand new deluxe edition from Dark Horse. Look at that silver.
That's
Jeez,
just
oh Pete's.
what the
That looks
hell?
nice.
The newest
Oh, the
deluxe
H.P.
edition that
Lovecraft.
came out. Yeah, Mountains of Madness.
Yeah.
Um, holy crap, this was good. And this dude's artwork is freaking insane.
Yeah. H.P. Lovecraft
Was it-
stuff is bonkers.
I didn't
And
even know that they had an HP Lovecraft manga.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah,
couple that are
there's a couple.
yeah.
This
This
is
is news
the
to
first
me.
one that's been in deluxe edition
Yeah.
from Dark Horse. But I read that, and it was great. Super freaking creepy.
As it should be.
Definitely recommend. But I enjoyed that. But like I said, yesterday I read like 3 volumes or 2 volumes. The day before I read one or two. I mean, it's all just new stuff. Ching, ching, ching. So
Mhm.
much new crap coming out.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I am curious. You said that there are a few things you want to read digitally. Like, I am curious as to what series those are. No,
uh,
not besides JoJo's. Where you can get into JoJo's later.
yes, I love JoJo's. I would love to continue JoJo's on digitally just because I love it so much. But I'm reading them patiently in their beautiful hardcovers.
Yes.
Viz is doing a great job. Thank you. They started printing them every 2 months instead of 3 months. Mwah, mwah. So we got a Steel Ball Run coming.
I
What was the question?
It was
Things that I want to read digitally.
yeah.
Things that I think will get printed likely, like Baki, Kingdom,
Mhm.
Kengan Ashura, stuff, bigger stuff like that. I'm sure there's. The problem with me is I like so many things. If I only like shonen, this would be so much easier, or seinen.
Right?
But but I like everything. I
We do
actually
too.
forgot to say, but I came from a more comic background, DC, Marvel, independent stuff.
Mhm.
So I like that too. I collect that stuff too and read that too. I mean, I like too much stuff.
Yep. It's a
Oh,
curse.
we
It's a curse.
understand that full well.
Yeah.
But fair enough. Tyler, you can go and I'll go last.
I
What have you been reading recently?
well, I was out of the country, so I did read some stuff. I read Corpse Delivery Service. I had the first omnibus for that one. That one is wonderful. I love that. That was a really, really fun. It it did a good job of balancing creepy and comedy, which is kind of a rarity, I feel like. But it was solid enough to where it does give a sense of uneasiness with a appropriate sprinkling of comedy on top, where it's not like too heavy on either side. So that was a fun one. One that wasn't fun, but still a fun read, or I should say a fantastic read, was Takapi's Original Sin. That shit broke me.
God.
That was less. Again, like the manga itself is incredible, but it was not an easy go.
No.
I think other than that, I've read Smoking Behind the Supermarket. I still have to read volume 2. Like I continuously buy volumes of the series that I want to read and have been reading, other than what I can get access to on Shonen Jump. But honestly, the series that interest me the most are the ones that I've been finding on like Manga Decks and stuff, because they're series that are unique enough to where I've been enjoying them, and there's not something physically that I can read that kind of scratches that same itch, I guess. Like there's a couple of like this is obviously probably new to you, MangaSloth. I am a sucker and a total whore for slice of life. To the point where I will go and find the most depraved types of slice of life and romance stuff and ecchi stuff and harem stuff online, because you know what? I like it. It's fun. It entertains me.
Have you read Flying Witch?
I have not. I've read the
So that shows me that when you say you can't find it in physical, you're not looking hard enough.
that is, I mean,
Because
honestly, probably true.
I have piles of slice of life that are on. I mean, if you just look on the internet, Google search top slice of life manga, Flying Witch is top 10 on all of them.
I was gonna say, I think
Definitely read that.
I think I've heard of it. I mean, there's tons of slice of life that I have physically, but there's some that I've been enjoying a lot more. I mean, good example is the oh man, you're gonna have to keep me honest with this one, Frank, because I always forget the name of it. It's the telehealth, or not telehealth. It's like the telework romance one.
Oh yeah,
It has a very
don't
simple
remember
name.
the total name of it.
But that's been out, I think, since 2021, I want to say, and they finally announced that it's going to be printed, I think, in 2025. So, and it's like it's stuff that I will find online and be like, oh, this sounds great, and then the realization of there's nothing physical for it. I'll just read it on Manga Decks or wherever else. There's the How We Draw, which is an incredible series. There's I wish I had my phone nearby so I could just go and scroll through. There's a ton. There's a lot of series that, again, I could likely find another similar physical slice of life, and I probably have some that I haven't even started reading yet. But these ones just intrigue me to the point where I've been kind of gravitating more towards reading them online, and they're all freelance translated ones too. They're not the official translated versions like you can find on Shonen Jump and Viz too. But yeah, I mean, I do enjoy, like, there is a very big difference between reading something physically and then reading it on your phone, just the experience of it. So I do enjoy reading physical volumes more, but for some reason of late, I've just been moving more towards some of those series that I can only find online.
Yeah,
I don't know. I got some screws loose. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is why I wanted to go last, because you've got the one who is purely pretty much physical only, then you have you who is trending towards digital only, and there's me who's 50-50. I do both, and it is time consuming as hell, especially because you're like, okay, I got to find the book, and then it's like, cool, I could just read this on my phone, but it's like, no, I want to read the book because I bought the book. But yeah, I've been reading a ton, as you said, Sloth. Like there's a piles and piles of books back here of just like things to read. A majority, I will say, I do read almost a majority of what I have. I think I've read about 80% of what I own. So honestly, not that bad. Um, the few things that I am reading physically that I've been enjoying reading physically, Shangri-La Frontier is just a really fun series. I feel like every time I read a new volume, I'm like, I want more, but I gotta wait the 3 months or whatever it is before a new volume comes out. Um, the other one that I refuse to read ahead in digitally, so I wait months and months and months for a physical copy, is Witch Hat Atelier, which just got its first anime trailer 2 weeks ago, something like that, at Anime Expo. I still, it's a delight. It's one of those series that it's just like I can't get enough. I pick up a volume, I read it instantly.
Also,
You want to say something?
oh, I was just gonna say, side note, all future anime trailers, please take note of the Witch Hat Atelier one, in that they revealed literally nothing, but yet
I
made the
know.
most perfect trailer.
It's so
No,
I
good.
love
no
the
spoilers.
minimalist. I
So
love
Yeah,
it.
good.
it was just it was the perfect amount. It was just, very good meal.
Yeah.
Even
I'm
for movie
patient.
trailers too. Come
Yeah,
on.
well, yeah.
Movie trailers are just
Movie
god awful. They've
movie
been
trailers
awful
have
for
been
years,
they've been egregious for quite some time. But
like decades.
yeah,
But yeah, no. So like, there are a bunch of series that I've been reading physically, and then like I have my shame pile at the very bottom there. Like the
for
bottom
shame.
shelf is just like my pile of shame of what I haven't read yet. But there's like a bunch of stuff in there that I want to read that I will eventually get to. Like finishing B Stars is a big one. Finishing and catching up on My Hero Academia is another one right now, because the manga ends in 20 days from recording. So, because it ends on August 5th.
Yeah.
So 19 to 20 days, that series is going to end. So I'm trying to catch up. But then I do read a good bit digitally because I do enjoy shonen, I do enjoy seinen and whatnot. So Manga Plus, I'm a big fan of, and I'm also a big fan of the Shonen Jump app. So there are series there that I've read the physical copies, but I also am up to date on it because it's all available digitally. So series like Akane Banashi, One Piece, Kagurabachi, uh, Goku
Gakurak. Yeah.
Rakugai, Showdown, show. God dang it! Something Shoha Shoten. God damn, I could not get that one out.
You got it.
Like series like that. There's a bunch of series that I like reading digitally as well. Even on Manga Plus, I really didn't mention many Manga Plus, but like Oshinoko, Marriage Toxin, those are finally getting their volumes going. Like I
You and
think
I are
Marriage
polar
Toxin,
opposites.
that too. Well, I'm not really reading that one. I need to get back into it. But like those are series that are getting weekly chapters that you may not know about because some people do read them physically, and the physical sometimes comes out way later. But I do say that like whatever I do read physically or digitally, like say Oshinoko, Zom 100, etc., I will go buy and like go back and buy all the physical copies that come out for those series because I enjoy them so much. The only one that I haven't really started collecting physically that I do enjoy is One Piece, because I really only recently started. I think I started reading that last year. Yeah, and it kind of melted into this year as well. So it's just one of those things, like I have not even begun
Well,
to start collecting those physically
better
because it is a lot.
better late than never.
But yeah, it is one of those interesting things where it's like physical is great. I love reading a physical book. Being able to turn a page and just see the full art on both sides is great, but also being digital is great. It's right there on your phone. You don't have to get up. You can go to the next chapter. You don't get the potential, like this is super minute and just like whatever nitpicky, but like when you are reading physically and you do have the both pages, you sometimes will glance the other page and you see something, you're like, well, what the fuck. Reading digitally, you only get one page at a time, and it's kind of nice, and you just be like, oh.
It's Frank, your ADHD is coming out.
I know my
I
ADHD is real bad.
I will say something that is just being skipped, but it should be told to anybody listening.
Yeah.
I get asked this a zillion times on my YouTube and Instagram and all that. Kids and adults asking me for short series and
Mm.
one shots and smaller things.
Yeah.
And it's not because they just want to read a small thing. I'm sure they would love a long story like Twin Star Exorcist or something, but
Hmm.
they're asking because of money.
Yeah.
Money is something that can have you not buy a bunch of physical stuff. Now, I'm not trying to be sloth daddy moneybags here. Money's not a problem, so I have way more manga than a lot of people will ever have. So helping them find cheaper manga or stuff like that is very important if they want to read physical.
Yeah.
Because physical, like I said back from when I started manga, it's expensive. It can be very expensive. So digital is a lot cheaper. There's a lot more free digital. I mean, I guess there are a lot of libraries have manga. You can go there and read physically for
Yeah.
free, but money is a barrier to entry at some point in time, depending on how much you want to read one or the other. Is
Yep.
what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will ask it out of morbid curiosity, what is like a smaller series that you're just kind of like your go-to recommendation for people then?
Um.
I'll let my
Oh,
ADHD just take over here and ask
put on the spot.
ask the internal thought.
Well, I mean, just with one shots. I mean, we got this thing I just talked about. You can
Very
get this
true.
on in stock trades for $29.
Mm-hmm.
That's not too bad.
I think
And then
I think the first omnibus I bought was the Fooly Cooly one. I think that's
yeah,
complete
Fully Cool
edition.
is a short series.
Yeah.
All You Need Is Kill is one shot. That's a good one. Black Torch is a good one. Also, the creator of Heart Gear, which is out now. That one's short and good.
Yeah.
Just just name a couple. A Silent Voice. I Want to Eat Your Pancreas.
Both really good.
Uh, Stuff like that.
Yeah. Well,
Orange.
and we had talked about this too before on other episodes as well, but that's also, the financial aspect is also a reason why many people are limiting themselves to one streaming service too for anime, because I think we did a full calculation, and anime that is airing now are coming out on, I think, six
Five.
different, is it five different platforms? I thought we were up to six.
Five unless you're counting Disney, but Disney is Hulu here in the
Is
States.
that including Max
Yeah,
and
so you have Max, Netflix, Hulu, Disney. Oh no, it is six. Hulu,
yeah.
Disney, Crunchyroll, High Dive,
And
and
I think Toonami. I think Adult Swim is airing one.
oh, they might. I think
Yeah.
they have one coming up called Lazarus. That's what it is.
Okay. I think my wife brought up one and she was like, it's being aired on Toonami. How the hell am I going to watch it? And I was like, we'll figure it out. But yeah, I
It'll
mean,
come
like,
first.
even five is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking average subscription for, a streaming service nowadays is $9 and maybe $7 if
I
you're
would even
doing.
say 15.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say $9 if you're doing like no ads. So let's just say 10. That's $50 a month. I mean, that's a lot of money for people just to be able to watch anime on top of all the other expenses too. So, yeah, I agree that the financial aspect is definitely a barrier of entry to collecting manga. But I think that's why more and more people are moving towards digital, just one for the cost aspect and then the convenience aspect too. I know for
Yeah.
me, like, the primary reason that I read digital series is because I'll admit it, I'm just impatient. I could wait patiently for Steel Ball Run to be printed physically and get those sweet,
You
sweet.
chastise me.
I know, but it's more just like, again, I have kind of these waves of interest where I'm like, I'll move to being like, you know what? No, I only want to really read seinen, or I'll be like heavy in the shonen area, or I'll go entirely into slice of life and romance stuff. Like, I fluctuate. So there are certainly times where I'm like, nope, give me more hardcore stuff. Give me like what like I watched in my childhood, or give me, some romance lovey-dovey mushy stuff. Like it flows as the time goes on. So some of them I have access to physically because I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's catch up on this series, or, I actually should start this one. Let's go grab it from the store. Versus other ones, I'm like, you know what? I saw this on Instagram and realized it's not physical, and it's also not on any of the apps. I have to go find it on the web and then read it by a freelance translator.
Yeah.
Like, I go through one extreme to the other. So again, I would much rather be in the Sloth Camp and read physically and have access to that type of manga too, I certainly can go out and get it, but it's more just the convenience factor of like I can unlock my phone and go, all right, here's the series that I want to read. Oh, cool, I found it on MangaDex. Let's just go see how many chapters are out right now, and then I can
Uh,
dive through it. Like I'm reading JoJo Leon right now on
Yeah.
MangaDex too, and I think I'm a couple chapters in because I know based on the Viz release schedule, that's not coming out until like I think 2028 roughly. So
Your guess is as good as mine. Sloth, you were gonna say something. Take it away.
I was saying, how much do you spend on digital manga? Now we're talking about people who are the straight and arrow, for anime and manga. I don't ever
Yeah.
promote
No.
going and reading scanlations or anything like that.
Honestly, that's the good thing about digital and why I feel like I wanted to talk about digital versus physical and the future of that and where it's heading. I'd kind of talked about it before the show, but I feel like currently there are some newer series that are out physically or newer volumes physically that are taking a little bit longer to actually get into stores despite what their release date says. The past month, I think I've run into 5 instances where I've pre-ordered a book off of Crunchyroll or Amazon or something somewhere because I found a good deal on it. And the day that it's supposed to come out, no shipping, which is fine, some delays and whatnot. But then 2 weeks go by and there's still nothing. And my Barnes and Noble down the street or whatever, they have it in stock. So I go down to Barnes and Noble, I pick it up, and then I just cancel the order on Crunchyroll. So I feel like it's nowhere near as bad as when we had the shortages in 2020 and 2021, but I'm seeing again like another trend of like just a minor blip of just like, hey, we're seeing delays again. It's good to be in digital, but back to your question, how much do you spend on digital? I only spend $5 a month, and that's on the Viz app and the Shonen Jump app. While despite both being owned by Shueisha, they both have different things. So Shonen Jump will have the weekly Shonen Jump, your Sunday. They come out on Sundays, Monday in Japan, I believe. Your Sunday chapters. So you get all your One Piece, your Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, um, uh, Akane Banashi, Kagurabachi. You get a bunch of stuff, and it's $3 a month. I think it's $3 a month, and then Viz. No, sorry, $4 a month. Viz is $3 a month, so I send $7 a month. And
mhm.
Viz is a lot more romance stuff, like shojo stuff. But then they have Junji Ito. Like almost all of Junji Ito stuff is on the Viz app, and it's $3 a month. Like, and you get 100 chapters per day. Like, it's a really hard deal to beat. So, like, while I love physical, like it can be time extensive to buy a book and find a book and read it, while digital you can just spend $7 a month and have access to both Shonen Jump and Viz Media, and read everything up to current date. And I say everything kind of with an asterisk because there are still series that, because they have deals with publishers, like they don't, not all of the chapters are out, but they do have a majority of like the whatever's just released and the first like 50 chapters of a series out on the Viz app. Manga Plus is another app that I do use. It is owned by Shueisha. There is a paid tier, but there's also a free tier. And the free tier gives you a lot of stuff. You can read in a series. If it's an ongoing series, you can read each chapter one time. Like the first 3 chapters you can read as many times as you want, and the last 3 chapters you can read as many times as you want. But everything in between you can read once, and once you've clicked into it and you've read it, you can't go back in unless you have a paid membership. So like that's also super cost effective because they do have nearly every series that's on Shonen Jump that comes out weekly on that app for free. So it's one of those things that it's just like it's really hard to defend physical sometimes when digital is cheap, convenient, and there and current. Like I know Sloth, you're saying that you read One Piece, physically. I don't even know what chapter they're on physically compared to like where they are at digitally
I
because
I don't know, volume 106. So they're up. I don't know. They're
you're
Egghead
probably
Island.
and they're just near the end of that arc, I believe, right now. So it's just one of
So
those things that it is very convenient, and you can get more bang for your buck, I feel like.
So
But at the
everything
same, oh,
Go
go for it.
ahead. Sorry.
No, no,
No,
no,
go ahead.
no. I was pretty much done with my point. I was just gonna swing
Ramble.
back around. What's up?
I was just gonna say everything you're saying is right. There's 90% of the time digital will always be cheaper than physical. There's pros and cons of each. You
Yeah.
know, like you said, you can only read. Sometimes you can only read it once. Unless you're buying like the volume digitally, like for $4 or $5, $6, then I'd say you might as well just buy physical because you can pick up a volume like this. Um, well, this is old pricing, $7.99. They ain't like that anymore. Uh,
No, they actually just increased. Shonen Jump just increased. It was 99 or 9.99 for the long time. Now it's 11.99.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they did that many months ago. It's so
Yeah.
for box sets and everything. So you can get this if this was a $10 volume, you can get it for $6.50, basically 99% of the time online. And the pro of that is, obviously you get to reread it, own it, collect it, all that, gibberish. But then you can sell it, so you can recoup some of your money. Digital, it's just going in and out of your mind, but it's always going to be cheaper. To your earlier point about delays, uh, that's just Crunchyroll. 100%, that's just Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Crunchyroll stinks. I don't really order from them anymore. Um,
We miss you, right
ever,
stuff.
I know.
yes, yes. Uh, I, I mean, sometimes Crunchyroll's okay, but I wouldn't do pre-orders from them right
No,
now.
I've
It's
finished
not
that.
good. But even in stock, things aren't good. So even with the Shangri-La Frontier and stuff like that, it's what they're getting from distributors, but also it's their problem of accounting for too much or too little. Their pre-order system is trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, they allocate volumes first come, first serve. They will not hold volumes for anyone. So if you pre-order 10 things and 9 of them come in, but the 10th one comes in a day later, you will never get that 10th one. You'll be waiting months. Right Stuff used to do that. They used to build your order as it came in and shipped it full. Crunchyroll will not do that. So the
They
delays
the
are from
pre-orders.
them.
I will
Yeah.
say the pre-orders are still really bad with Crunchyroll. However, they have changed it up a little bit because in that previous order where I said I canceled the 2 books, the Soul Eater and Shangri-La, I did order 5 other books with it that were in
Yeah.
stock. So I got those 5 and then had to wait for the 2 which never came and canceled. So
Yeah.
Yes.
they have gotten a bit better, but you also do have to know how to order from Crunchyroll in order to get your stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think to kind of just, I guess, chime in too on the physical side, I think there's a couple issues. One being that there are a number of competing sites nowadays where it is affecting the at least North American or Western markets for buying manga. Because you're like originally it was like Right Stuff, Barnes and Noble, and then maybe Amazon. But now there's like a plethora of other sites you can go to try to find other deals and stuff, and they'll have deals going on, and so then other sites are trying to compete with that, and it's all chaotic. But at the end of the day, we kind of bear the brunt of it being a quote secondary market in that it takes years to get a series that is serialized in Japan. Be like, all right, we're gonna print it in English, and then it has to be translated, and then they have to find a distributor, then they have to find a licensor, and then they have to do the full translation, and then they have to actually do the printing, and then it finally comes out. And after all the cost, we get things that are 2, 3, 4 times as expensive as they are in Japan. Perfect example is you and I are polar opposites. I have the Japanese version. It is 600 yen, which to US dollars is about $3.80.
Yep.
Like that, and this is a new series. I think we have 2 volumes out in the US now. Maybe just the one, I think.
I
We
think it's
might
just the one.
I
I
think
didn't see 2
I
out
think
yet.
there's 3 now out physically in Japan is what I saw then. So yes, we only have 1 out in the United States, and I think that came out at the $11.99 or $12.99 price, I want to say. So that's an increase of, almost 4 times as much. So it's sort of the the nature of the market in that we're getting everything done secondhand and kind of eating that major cost of everything that goes into the processing of creating the manga into, the English version and then printing it for sales domestically, in North America. So that's not helping us either. But I do agree though that the convenience of having things digitally is sort of offset by the fact that you will never own it. It's like the whole issue that people had with iTunes, right? Like, yeah, I can buy a digital album much cheaper than buying a physical album on iTunes, but the moment that Apple's like, we're cutting
Bye
that
bye,
artist, you have no rights to that music anymore, and you're out your $7. It's the same thing on the Shonen Jump app, right? Like, I don't know if they'll ever do this, but they could, like series like Green Green Greens and other series that have been cut, right? They might decide, hey, this series is done. We're just gonna get it off our site because it's finished, it's complete.
Well,
and you just you don't have any rights to reading those chapters anymore unless you go out and buy it physically.
I sort of wanted to bring that up in the sense that recently we both covered on an episode the fact that a bunch of series that Shonen Jump killed off early, they were getting physical releases just like, it's not on the bookshelf anymore. Red Hood, I forget the full title of it.
Oh yeah,
but
that's an old one.
Red Hood, that got cut early, but it got a physical release, which was great. The other one is the guy who did Hell's Paradise. He did another series, and it only got a 3-volume run as well. That got a physical release. But the last Viz announcement, big like announcement day, they showed off a bunch of series that were cut early, again, like Ginka and Gluna, that are only getting digital copies now. They're not getting the physical copies like we did. So it also worries me in the sense that, like MangaSloth, like you love your physical. You will read some digital, but mostly physical. There are some series that are just going to be relegated to just digital that should get the physical treatment, which really sucks. And also, I wanted to correct you, Tyler. 2 volumes are 1 volume is currently out. Volume 2 for You and I Are Polar Opposites comes out August 6th, but there are 6 out in Japan.
Oh, there are 6 out in Japan. Oh, okay.
6 out with the 7th one coming August 2nd.
Okay. Well, I can guarantee you all of them are about 600 yen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I agree. I agree 100% with that. But it's not new. It's not new to me. It's not new to anybody else. There's been thousands of manga that came out digitally the last 10, 15 years that will never get printed physically, and they're digital only. So it's not new. So that's why I think everybody should have like a nice balance of both, because the more you buy the physicals, the more mangaka want to make, because they get bigger money from that.
Yeah.
And it supports them more. But then digital is also great. And if you just go to a Barnes and Noble, or I prefer Books A Million if you have those around you, or whatever your bookstore is, you're really only seeing, I don't even know, 40%, 50% of the new stuff that's coming out. I'm not talking about old stuff. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new manga coming out today, yesterday, the day before, that you will never see on a Barnes and Noble, BAM, whatever your bookstore is. So that's not the best place to shop for new volumes. If you just want to walk in and find something, which is a shame, but
Yeah.
you know, it's and I'm talking physical here for the physical volumes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we did an episode before too, about the series being translated over to English, and there was a stat that I had read from a company, a newer company in Japan that's actually leveraging artificial intelligence to do translations to try to cut costs for when they want to print in English. And the statistic was something like 92% of series, like manga serializations in Japan, have not been translated over to English, like officially. So we're talking, out of the massive pool we already have, because, you can go to bookstores and see, good amount of rows. I know for me, it's like Second and Charles has a couple of good rows of manga to choose from new series to older series as well. You're really only seeing a drop in a Olympic pool, basically, of what has been created and is out physically in Japan too. So again, it's sort of a byproduct of the fact that we are, by nature of being, outside of Japan, like the secondary market to all of this. And so we're kind of getting the shortcomings of a lack of, funding for the translations coming over, or just the resources to do so. And so you're only getting, the major series, the highly popularized series in Japan, the ones that have the traction already through, either the mangaka themselves or promotions or what have you, coming over to the United States. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but it's the nature of the market. And so the hope is that, like you were saying too, if we continuously support them and buy physical, and we're showcasing through manga sales domestically, that yes, we are a huge market, we do want more, gimme, that will inevitably then roll into, in future years, more series coming, both new and older. Like, it'd be fun to read some of the older series that have just never been translated over, like series that many people might not even know about, finally getting their way into the domestic markets here in North America. So it's just kind of a waiting game at this point, and I'm impatient, and that's why I read digitally. Thank you.
That's a big that is a big problem with the drop in the bucket. But
Yeah.
the bigger problem is what they're seeing at Second and Charles, and I'm seeing in Byam and Barnes and Noble, and Book Off, anywhere I go. It's a drop in the bucket just for English, though.
Yep.
Like, no joke, I have a table over here of new manga from publishers that 99% of the people have never heard of, and Yen Press, and even other stuff that they've sent me that even you guys who go into stores and stuff will never see. But it's hundreds and hundreds of brand new volumes that are all brand new series just translated in English, and no one's ever going to see them unless they're, I don't know, unless someone like me or you guys show it out to the world, or they follow Yen Press or something. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just going in a bookstore,
Oh yeah.
it's a drop in a bucket for English, but then it's like a drop in the ocean coming over from Japanese.
Yeah. I know there was I can't remember the publisher's name, but I know they've been doing like Kickstarters just to be able to do
Yeah.
the English publications for some series that they have rights to. And it's like,
Manga, maybe?
yeah, I can't remember the name, but like that kind of goes to show you too, like it's great when we can support them, but it's also one of those unfortunate things where they have to rely on that support to even be able to publish it, right? It's not, you kind of want it to be the opposite, to where like if I go out and buy something, that shows your support, that shows my support for you, and that should help you do this more and more, versus, hi, I know you like our stuff, but we need you to help us to even give you the thing that you want. Like, that's kind of the opposite of what we would want to have happen. So again, the hope is that through just, again, it's not, this is not us saying like, go out and buy as much manga as you physically can. Like,
don't do that.
No,
be financially responsible.
Yeah, but it's like they track who's reading, like what series is being read digitally too. They track, what's trending online. They track, even like if it's an anime and it hasn't been, brought over physically yet as well, as the manga series. Like, that's stuff that is being tracked and monitored and analyzed. So just those small things to help the industry domestically, right? Kind of speaking strictly within North America. It helps to gauge and understand the audience more. And again, the hope is, we haven't really seen much change lately, but the hope is that will result in a larger increase of volumes coming over. New series, old series, anything realistically that we just don't have access to right now.
Agreed. To put a pin in this conversation, just because we're going a little bit over time right now, Um, I think that while everything is kind of moving towards a very digital age, the physical is still important too. I definitely think that we're gonna see video games right now is having a reckoning in digital preservation for the fact that games will come out digitally and then they'll lose the license to the game because music license in there expired, so they can't sell it anymore. So then it's just gone to oblivion. Um, I feel like manga is going to learn the hard way that what video games is learning right now. Digital only is not the way to go. Keep everything preserved physically as well. Because I mean, even look at the anime industry. You still got a shit ton of anime that were out and available to streaming that now that IP has exchanged hands, nobody knows who owns it exactly, and you can't even watch it anymore. Baka&Co is a huge one. People love Rah Rah Rah. People love Dead Mount Death Play. God, I know I had to think of it off the top of my head. People love that author's series, but you can't watch Baka&Co anymore unless you have the $130 DVD collection that came out 20 years ago or 15 years ago, whatever it was.
Looking at
Uh,
you, Full Metal Alchemist, the original.
yeah, you can't even watch Full Metal Alchemist, the original. You can only watch Brotherhood right now digitally, and finding it physically is nearly not impossible. It's expensive. It's just expensive. So I think that right now the manga market is going through that phase of like, oh, digital's the way, and then they're gonna learn a very hard lesson in the next 5 years of like this was a mistake
Yeah.
to fully put a lot of eggs in this basket.
Yeah, I mean,
That's my thoughts on the whole industry as a whole, and also my last parting word is, Kodansha, please fucking do something about your app. For the love of God, it's awful. Um, last words from either of you.
yes. I don't know.
If you bring up
You
JoJo's again, I was gonna fucking.
My brain did go right to JoJo's and was
I
just
know
like,
it did.
please, part 7. No, I think, I mean, this was a great conversation and just kind of showcasing the complexity of the manga market. But again, you can show your love and support in many different ways. You don't have to buy physically. You certainly can. I mean, again, upside is ownership. Downside to digital is you really don't have any rights to it. So, you exchange that for the convenience and the price. But again, the whole point of this is to just try to show your love and support for things that you love in any way possible. And it doesn't have to be tied financially as well. It can just be through talking about it online, or, reaching out and supporting different mangakas or small publishers or what have you. I think that's just important because we are a secondary market and we need to do as much as we can to basically wave the banner at Japan and be like, yes, we want more. Please, for the love of God,
Yeah.
send us more. Please. Everything goes to France first. Why do the French get things
God.
first before us?
This is true. Manga Sloth, any last words?
I think we're three peas in the pod. I don't think you guys said a single thing that I don't just completely agree with.
I
So
greatly appreciate that.
Yeah. It's always good to hear. It's the worst feeling is when a guest comes on and is like, I have nothing to relate to you with. I can't abhor you even more than I already do. Goodbye.
The show you watched, I absolutely attest and hate.
Yeah.
You guys are weird for
You
liking
should
it.
feel ashamed.
Yeah, but
yes. So while I prefer physical, I wouldn't want to live in a world nowadays without digital. I don't even think it needs to be 50-50. If digital is 70 and physical is 30, that's still good. I think they both need each other. And same with what you were saying about anime, not to just ramble here,
no, go for it.
The Yu Yu Hakusho voice actors came back and dubbed like 4 more episodes, like a special episodes. But it's not digital anywhere. You have to buy like $150 box set to like get them. That's BS. Just wanted to say that. I see. I need digital. I need things digital too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a purpose and a place, and I agree that they can't exist without the other. But
Yeah.
there's certainly the upsides and downsides to both.
No kidding. MangaSloth, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Where can our audience find you? Where can they follow you and see all your stuff that you create?
I am the Manga Sloth on everything. On TikTok, on Twitch. I don't really do Twitch. I do live streams on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. We're closing in on 40,000 subs, so I'd love to have you guys, anybody there. And Manga Sloth Discord, all the stuff.
Fair enough. We will put links in the description for where everybody can find you. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, audience, for joining us this week. I know it was a bit of a longer episode, but we like to go a little bit long when we have some guests on so we can pick their brains and get their opinions as well. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. And if you want something shorter, you can find us on YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and TikTok as we post daily, or try to post daily until, my brain farts and Tyler takes off into
Leaves
a
the
different
country.
Yeah, leaves the country for 2 weeks. So you can find us there for some shorter form content. But until next time, Spark Triumph. We'll see you then.